Well, as soon as it was made clear and evident to the public that, hey, you can end the transfer portal, everybody turned their heads to Arch Manning. And I can't sit up here and tell you enough how much I like this for Arch Manning. I think this is the right decision. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope each and every single one of you had a great and fantastic Wednesday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Look, man, I'm not going to beat around the bush. If you haven't been living under a rock, you know there's a lot of stuff and a lot of chaos going on in the college football world. There's so much stuff going on, and we got a big time update on your boy Arch Manning, and we got to talk about it. And what's really interesting about Arch Manning is he's arguably one of the biggest names in the entire college football world, and he's not even a starter. It's very weird and strange because I'd almost go as far as to saying he's dang near a household name. But yet, he's not even a big-time player or anything like that. We're going to talk about him and what's going in the transfer portal, but also the #1 cornerback in the transfer portal. He just announced, as when I'm speaking, where he's going to play. There's a couple other minor topics we're going to speak on. It's safe to say, yet another jam-packed video. Get your snack, get your popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. As most of you know or may not know, we're trying to hit 310,000 subscribers before the new year. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel or you've been watching and you're just simply not subscribed, consider subscribing. 100% free, and you can always unsubscribe later. But all right, man, I should have grabbed without further ado. Let's get into it. You know what? We're going to do this. We're going to start this video by reading off some of the comments on the previous videos because I haven't been able to do that because we've just been covering nonstop all the transfer portal stuff. And we're still going to do that, trust me, but I want to see what some of you are having to say because y'all always give a great perspective and a different insight. This comment was on the video we made. I'll pop it up right here. So this is why Georgia lost to Alabama. In that video, I did a complete film breakdown, so if you like film breakdown, stuff like that, feel free to check it out. But Razorback said, the game really could have gone either way. Both are playoff caliber. I think Georgia is better than Washington in a top 4 team, but we all know knew Georgia wasn't making it. It sucks because they were #1 team for most of the year, and I agree. Look, man, I really don't want to sit up here and continue to talk about the deserving and best, but I think Georgia tomorrow, if they was playing Washington, I'd pick them to win. But yet again, it's a tricky argument because you got to put Washington, and they beat Oregon twice. They're undefeated. I hate it for Georgia fans. I really do. But the game's got to mean something. And I know when I said that, you're about to have so many people run to the comment section saying, oh, Matt, what do you mean the game means something? If the games mean something, then Florida State would have made it. And calm down, buddy. Calm down. I'll tell you this much. Yeah, Florida State's game against Louisville and Florida, it did matter. At this point in time, I really am just sick and tired of these Florida State fans saying, oh, I guess the games don't matter anymore. Why do we even play the games? Blah, 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 blah. Let me tell y'all a brief story. I had one of my buddies who is a Florida State fan call me after that ACC championship, and he was laughing about how miserable and how pathetic of an ACC championship game that was. The offense for Florida State was flat out pathetic. The only time you scored a touchdown was when you broke off a 70-yard run in the Wildcat. And if some of you saw my live reaction to the Alabama-Georgia game, what did I say in that video to my friend I was watching the game with? You can go back and watch it. I'm not going to throw it in this video because it's not the focal point of the video, but I told him if if Florida State only wins by about 10, 14 points, I think Alabama's going to get in. But if Florida State blows them out, if they beat Louisville by 30, 40 points, they're going to get in. And well, we saw what happened. Thank you yet again to Razorback for commenting this. And yeah, currently I have Georgia as my 4th best team in the country. We'll go with one more comment. I spent a little too long talking about that one because we still got a bunch of other topics to get into. Let's read off just one comment. So we got time for on this video right here. 12 players just left Ohio State in 24 hours. I want to see what y'all got to say. Fitman said, thank you for this. Julian was a 5-star, referring to Julian Fleming out of PA, and has been injured throughout most of his time at Ohio State. Last year, Ohio State signed 2 more 5-star receivers named Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis, which I am very familiar with. In Rivals 24-player rankings, they have #1 and number 29th player verbally committed, and they're both wide receivers, with Jeremiah Smith being the top dog. I definitely understand what you're saying there, and I think it was a mutual departure. Julian Fleming, it seems like he needs a fresh start, and I think we can all agree with that. But with that being said, I still think it's a huge loss to lose Julian Fleming because no matter how you look at it, he was going to start next year. And I do want to throw this in there. Julian Fleming, for a lot of people that don't know this, he was hurt almost his entire time while he's at Ohio State. And not exactly his entire time, I'm kind of exaggerating that, but it seemed like he was always banged up. I would love to read off more comments, but we got to lock in and we got to get down to business. So I guess you could say, moving along here to our first real deal topic, check this out. Florida State star, yeah, I'll label him as star wide receiver, Johnny Wilson has declared for the 2024 NFL Draft. More importantly, he will not be playing in the bowl game against Georgia. I can't blame him for multiple different reasons. I've always advocated for players to sit out in meaningless bowl games. But to go on top of that, I especially can't blame him considering you're either going to have A, Tate Rodemaker throwing the ball to you, or B, Brock Glenn. With all due respect. Do what you please with that information. I'll just leave it at that. But check this out. There's more to this, and I thought this was pretty interesting. You don't see this every day. So no, he won't be playing against Georgia, but he will be playing in the Senior Bowl. That's pretty interesting. Not going to play for Florida State, but playing in the Senior Bowl. And a lot of people were sending me that saying, Matt, why would he do this? What's going on? Is he giving up on his team? And no, he's not giving up on his team. It's more so of the Senior Bowl is pretty much just I guess you'd say an NFL Combine Junior or JV. The Senior Bowl is nothing more than pretty much the Combine before the Combine, at least in my eyes. It's really an opportunity for a guy like Johnny Wilson to boost himself up into potentially the first round. Because right now I've read some scouting reports and they got him going around the second or third round. And maybe if he does good at the Senior Bowl, he could be a first round pick. That's just maybe. He's definitely an interesting prospect because you don't see too many guys that tall and that athletic. We'll see what happens there. I did want to update you guys on that. But moving along here to our second topic, check this out. Star cornerback Pry Jr. Originally, he entered the portal with a no contact tag, which means you can't hit him up, but he can hit you up. He has just announced he's transferring to Missouri. This was really shocking to me, and this is breaking news as when I'm speaking because it's not every day that Missouri gets a lockdown corner. There is some speculation that maybe and just maybe there was some tampering involved, but I don't know about all that. The only reason that's been thrown around is because he did enter the portal yet again with a no contact tag. That's something you don't see every day, and yet again, if you don't know what that means, he entered the portal, and let's say you were Nick Saban, well, you couldn't even recruit him because he has a no contact tag. In other terms, he already knew where he was going before he entered the portal. So it brings up the question, how wasn't there tampering involved? I don't know. Do what you want with the information. It looks like old Eli Drinkwitz, he's got that program on the rise. Watch out. I could sit up here and talk about that all day, but we're going to move on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. What is going on with Texas and Arch Manning? Well, as soon as it was made clear and evident to the public that, hey, you can enter the transfer portal, everybody turned their heads to Arch Manning. And it's for obvious reasons. I'm not going to act dumb, and neither should you. Arch Manning's not starting, and he's currently not even the backup quarterback. He's a third stringer. So obviously, when you got a big-time recruit like that is sitting on the bench, and he will more than likely sit on the bench next year, everybody's like, hey, why doesn't he leave? And here's where things get interesting. Over the past couple months or so, it's been made clear that Quinn Ewers, he's going to return to Texas. This was posted 4 days ago by Pete Thamel. Sources, Quinn Ewers' return to Texas becoming more likely. As he's set to make his 21st career start, there's an increasing feeling another year of development would set him up for long-term NFL success. And I agree. I think one more year at Texas would benefit Quinn Ewers tremendously. I don't think he's ready for the NFL. And plus, if he went into the NFL draft, I'm not even sold on the fact that he'd be a first-round pick at this moment in time. I love everything about him. I personally would probably take him in the first round, but I don't know if these teams would. But we're not here to talk about old Quinn Ewers. We're here to talk about what this means for Arch Manning. With the news coming out that Quinn Ewers more than likely will return to Texas, that's when everybody's like, wait a minute, if he's returning, what's going to happen to Arch? And there's a lot of rumors floating around that he will enter the transfer portal, but I decided to make a couple phone calls in Texas morning. I wish I had a little bit more than I do, but I only have a couple sources around that Texas program, and from everyone I talked to, they said the same thing. Arch Manning, he's happy, and he's not going anywhere. I'll put it to you like this, quote unquote, I'm looking at the text right now. One of my sources told me I'd be shocked if he left. So yeah, do what you want with that information. I am not a Texas Longhorn fan, but if I was, I would be extremely happy about this, and I think this is big time news. Because at first glance, when you hear the news that, oh, Quinn Ewers is coming back, you immediately turn to, oh gosh, does that mean we're going to lose Arch Manning because now he's got to sit another year or maybe another 2 years? Because you got to think about it. Quinn Ewers coming back also means Malik Murphy won't be the starter next year, so he's got to sit another year. And I'm looking at a nerd text right here that says, I'm 99% sure that Arch Manning is going to stay. And it seems like the entire notion from everything I've seen on social media is he will be staying as well. And I can't sit up here and tell you enough how much I like this for Arch Manning. I think this is the right decision. In the modern day of age of college football, you see it right now. Heck, we even got starters leaving their current school. I don't just somewhat believe, I firmly believe staying at a college and getting fully developed and learning and earning your own spot, it's a lost art form. I think Arch Manning is going about this the right way, and same thing for his family. There's no need to rush. You don't need to start from day one or even day two. The only way I think Arch Manning would ever leave Texas is if, let's say, he's a starting quarterback in a year or two, or not next year, but the year after, is if he gets benched. then in that case and scenario, if he had his opportunity and lost it, yeah, I could definitely see him going elsewhere. But for now and in the near future, he's going to be a Longhorn. I've had a lot of people asking me what's going on with Arch, so do want to give y'all this quick and what I'm going to label as a minor update. Let me know your thoughts down below. But